Hey, what's up, Street Talks? The Eric from the Eric from Street Photography blog. Currently in our random Japanese APA businessman hotel. It's small and cozy and awesome. Highly recommended. So, I got a super exciting news for you. So besides these little cranes that we got, which totally orientalize our little Japanese experience, unfortunately this is an ode to my buddy, the RICOH GR. Rest in peace, RIP. So the problem is, I turn on the camera, and you can see the lens is actually stuck. There's a little aperture blades, and I think I've just used it so long over the last several years, and when I first turn on, the camera's actually black until I take the first test photo, and then it wakes up and I take photos. So obviously I've probably missed at least 50 decisive moments here in Tokyo, which is super annoying, and I just thought it'd be a good time to retire it and give it a beautiful final memory. And I was testing Cindy's LX100, which we're shooting with this, but right now there's some sensor dust on it. We'll figure that out later. So I was testing out all the different cameras, and Cindy's like, oh my god, you've been to like 10 big cameras here in Kyoto, Osaka, and now here in Tokyo. And finally, all my camera crap is destroyed, and now that I'm doing more video, I was thinking, what camera can I get which is awesome at both photo and video? And then I first heard and then came across the Lumix G9 Pro. I am a huge fan of the Lumix and Micro Four Thirds because the sensor size, although it's smaller, the image quality is phenomenal, and the autofocus is insanely fast. And also, you know, they've done a lot of collaborations with Leica with their lenses, so the lens quality is pretty nice. And so this is basically the unpacking. And it's got all these ridiculously new bells and whistles that I tried out at the store. And ultimately the reason why I liked it was it makes great photographs, the autofocus is really fast and accurate, and also it does great video. So it comes in this nice little canvas black thingy. Take it out. Woo! So instantly the first thing you do is you hold in the hand. It actually feels really good in the hand. It's not too big, it's not too small. Imagine like a super tiny Nikon DSLR. It's got all these nice little knobs at the top. And they've really done an outstanding job with their product design, is that they try to make it look like essentially a pro camera. It's got a nice thumb grip here, and it actually feels super comfortable in the hand. So this is the basic body. So we're going to put that down there. Of course, got random stuff like the camera strap. We don't really need that yet. I'm going to put an Henri neck strap on it when we get back to the States. So if you don't know about the Henri strap, go on Amazon or the Eric Kim shop and check it out. I'll put a link below. It's got random stuff like a USB charger to actually USB charge your camera, which is awesome. Then of course the regular battery chargers, which are kind of useful. It also has another USB. I don't know why there's so many USB thingies. And of course the most important thing is the battery. So the battery comes in this container here. And so we essentially got the camera at Big Camera, and it's amazing. We got it tax-free, showing and this is what you can use to charge it via the USB. So essentially we got the G9 Pro tax-free at Big Camera. So if you're a foreigner, make sure to bring your passport to buy the cameras. And not only that, but there's a Facebook deal which was 70% off. So real big thanks to our friends back home. Thank you so much Alex and Elsa for introducing us to the deals. Cindy also found the deal on Facebook. You pop this open, click it in here, bada bing bada boom. And the people at Big Camera were super friendly. And the lens that I got was the 12mm f1.4 aspherical Lumix G quote-unquote Leica lens. I mean, it's essentially a Panasonic Leica branded lens, but I don't exactly know how they do the quality, but the lens is awesome. I tried it out. The reason I got the 12mm is that with the crop sensor of the Micro Four Thirds, it's roughly a 24mm full frame equivalent. And I tested out this lens, and the color rendition and the sharpness and the weight is actually pretty fantastic. And especially now that I want to do more video work, I was like, okay, I want to get the best possible lens for doing video and photo work. And I haven't bought a new camera in like 7 years, or I bought a RICOH GR recently. It's a little lens pouch it comes with. I'm not going to need that. The really cool thing about this, it actually comes with this really lovely metal hood, and it just feels nice and solid like that. And then unboxing, taking out the lens. Ooh, so it's actually really nice is that it actually has a pretty good weight to it. It feels like, oh, you can hear it. It's like all metal. The autofocus button here, the manual focus button here. It's buttery smooth. It actually feels like a proper Leica lens. And then you have the clicking aperture rings here. And the tactile feeling of changing the apertures is actually super nice. It almost feels as good as the 0.95 Leica 50mm Noctilux lens, which is $10,000. It's quite possibly one of the most beautiful lenses that I've personally played with in the micro four thirds world. And the thing that's really cool is that because the sensor is smaller, it's a 24mm full frame. It's ridiculous because it's also a 1.4 lens, which means it's going to be fantastic for shooting at night. And any other, if you try to get a 24mm full frame 1.4 lens, it'd be insanely huge or expensive or super heavy. Here in a compact camera, the lens is not that light. It's still got a good weight to it, but it feels really good. I like it. And also because it's a Panasonic Lumix lens with a Lumix body, it just kind of makes sense. I was thinking about getting the Olympus, but I don't think it'd work as well. So to mount the lens, push this little button here. You can see this nice sensor. And a lot of people wonder, you know, full frame this, full frame that, why not just buy a Sony full frame, full frame? I'm like, full frame, honestly, it's nice, but it's a little bit overrated. I'm more of a bigger fan of either shooting with a smaller sensor, like shooting with a micro four thirds, shooting with your phone, or even a PSC sensor. Or if you're going to go hard, just get a digital medium format Pentax 645Z or the new Fuji GFX. So the way to turn it on is this little finger thing here. You turn on the camera, and there's so many ridiculous options in the camera. And there's all these ridiculous modes that I don't really quite know yet. Like there's the 6K mode where you could take a bunch of photos and then choose the best photo you like afterwards. And generally when I'm shooting photography or street photography, I like to keep in P mode, set and forget it. A new thing I discovered in the Panasonic Lumix cam is, which I really love, is this actually IA mode, which stands for Intelligent Automatic Mode, and it automatically chooses your aperture, shutter speed, and even the ISO. So I literally all I have to do is point and click. Now a lot of people say, oh, but I want to be a pro photographer, don't I have to use fully manual or all those pro settings? I actually think in reality, all that business is totally overrated. I think it's actually much more interesting to capture the decisive moment and make more meaningful photos. So I'm holding it here, and generally I just keep it in A mode, and autofocus is so fast. It's so nice and crispy. It feels fantastic. And also the cool thing too is that when you're doing video, while you're shooting video, you could actually take still photos. So this is really cool that I've been doing a lot of these POV videos. So that's actually one of the really good things on the Lumix. And you know, you can see all these little dials here with the thumb. Autofocus single, autofocus continuous, or manual focus, which is very useful when doing video. You could just adjust the focusing with this little thing here. And I think this is actually going to be cool. I could experiment with this is if I'm shooting street photography and I don't want to chimp, aka look at the LCD screen when I'm shooting. I could close this and I could just look through the viewfinder. And this is probably one of the most beautiful viewfinders that I've personally seen. I don't know if you could actually see it. Can you see it, Cindy?
No.
Okay.
Well, actually.
Can you?
No, not really.
No, not really?
It's,
okay.
Abstract.
So I'll describe it to you. It's really big. It's actually almost as big as a full frame camera, like larger than life. And not only that, but it's amazingly, blazingly fast. The color rendition is fantastic. It's probably actually one of the best LCD screens I've seen. But generally when I'm actually shooting street photography, nowadays I actually like to use the LCD screen. And the best thing about this camera, it swivels out like this. So I could essentially shoot myself doing selfies, or obviously in a more practical sense, I'll be doing video. And because there's a dedicated video button, and it gets a lot of the technology from the Lumix Panasonic GH5 and the new GH5S, which is fantastic for video, but because I'm more of a still photographer, I think this would be good. So the interesting thing with this camera is that Lumix and Panasonic, they're actually marketing it nowadays towards bird photographers, which totally makes sense because the autofocus on this is so fast, it's very accurate, and it feels pretty solid in the hands. But I actually think that more these micro four thirds Lumix cameras, and even the G9, would probably be a really good street photography camera because people are moving so quick. You need to capture the decisive moment, and autofocus is essential. And it's really going to be something super exciting to use. I'm excited to shoot more night street photography with it at 1.4. And once again, a lot of people say, oh, is Micro Four Thirds image quality good? Honestly, it's fantastic, and at this point, there's no more bad digital cameras. So I'm going to do more testing with it. Essentially, some things I'm excited for. There's a little microphone jack there, so you could connect a mic on the top if you want to do that. And there's all these little ports here on the side. For the SD card, there's dual SD slots, so if you want to write to 2 cards and have more backups, I guess that's useful. And also here on the side, you can actually charge your camera via USB, which is awesome because if you just connect it to your smartphone charger or just your wall outlet, it's a lot faster to charge it in body. So anyways, it feels pretty good in the hand, not as obviously light as my RICOH GR, but because I want to start doing more video work and I'm really excited to explore new technologies, I'm going to find out all these gimmicky, interesting new technologies in the camera, share my personal thoughts with you, but it's going to be a really exciting new opportunity for the blog, so make sure to click the links below, Eric Kim blog, to learn more about street photography and photography in general. Also, as a plug, check out my 2 brand new Udemy courses. The first is Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Mastering Photography, which is your starter kit to just re-sparking your passion in photography and essentially mastering the fundamentals. And then my second course, which is super interesting, is a photography entrepreneurship course. And the purpose of this course is to teach you how to build a following, for you to start your own YouTube channel, become a content creator, and essentially to build more creative confidence in yourself. And of course, go on Amazon, search Eric Kim Photography, got a lot of products there, or there's a link directly to the HAPTIC shop where we sell products directly from our shop and also on Amazon. Links in the description below. Super excited for this next step. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be epic. Thank you so much for being part of the journey. So what's your experiences with Micro Four Thirds? You know, what kind of videos would you like to watch, or anything you want to say hi? Leave a comment below, and really excited to hear from you guys. Peace out.